Welcome to the bold analysis. I think in this podcast, I have always insisted and repeated many times, and will not get tired of repeating, that never again should we carry violence to the 2027 ballot. We should not carry violence to the 2027 elections. But if you follow closely the clashes that happened today in Kisii, then you will understand what exactly is causing political tempers. And without making a clear judgment, I want us to see by ourselves. In this podcast here, we don't arrive at a conclusion before we show you what it is. And that is why we really try to go, we want to understand. So today, Silvanus Osoro led a delegation of UDA leaders from Kisii County to attend a fundraiser that was happening in Bomachoge constituency. And then the host MP Obadiah Barongo and Kitutu South Member of Parliament Anthony Kibagendi, who are both elected on ODM ticket. I'm not sure about about Obadiah, but I'm sure about Anthony Kibagendi. Whether I'm not sure about Obadiah is also ODM, but someone can confirm. But the two are representing Azimio, and Obadiah was actually the host MP. So I want you to look this video here. This is the time Anthony Kibagendi arrived there. And according to sources, because I literally spoke to, there's one of subscribers who was a church leader there, who just called me this evening. And he actually is a she. She was telling me about what exactly transpired there. Number one, she's saying that both camps had mobilized. That both Kibagendi and Obadiah all had mobilized their camps and Silvanus Osoro. So in that crowd, there were those who had been brought there. But predominantly that area is a more ODM zone. So Silvanus Osoro and the UDA team had a bit of a difficult time, and they went there and mobilized their UDA supporters. So there are supporters that were there that are residents of that Bomachoge and some others that were aliens. So if you can see here, when Anthony Kibagendi arrived, this group that is chanting all around this place, this group that is chanting here were the team that were pro the Azimio. And in fact, that she's telling me, for a fact, someone in Bomachoge can confirm, the majority were actually Azimio supporters. But remember, this was a church fundraiser. So even a crowd was not needed. They just needed the politicians. But because you also need money from the politicians, when politicians attend, literally they hijack the program, and then they want the crowds. So before this event, politicians there was a meeting in a nearby hotel around Kisii, and that meeting is where people are mobilized, or the politicians went there, and they said they would take time to talk about the politics, but decided to keep off from county politics. That's what that clergy, one of the subscribers has told me. And she attended that debrief. So what will then be agreed when they were going down is very clear that the church expected, yes, there was going to be those speeches, but didn't expect the cows. But then this is what happened. When Anthony Kibagendi took the microphone and started talking. There is just a snippet of translation. I want you to watch this video. It's a snippet of when Anthony Kibagendi was talking.
Ekera tuatarite na Ruto tatebete bottom up. Tatebete bottom up. Agateba nkwire ni ari bangonse. Morocho okorira mangana yo. Oruro ababache tena abachumbe na bakoira ni mna Inuaba 90. Ni inuaba 90. Moroche Ruto tatonya hareti. Ruto tatonya hareti. Bono nko batebiga. Omweshwa wa Jafet Nyakundi Ochira. Obatebiga serikali ya inari Obuoyo 7,000 to 2,000. Obuoyo mwarente ruga atari esike. Obuoyo mwarente ruga atari esike.
Anthony Kibagendi is Kitutu South MP. And when he started talking there, he spoke after he actually spoke after some UDA politicians, the Osoros. And Osoro was supposed to speak next, of course next, but there are others there who had already spoken. And despite the fact that the ground was polarized with some ODM supporters, but even by the time UDA politicians are speaking, there was no confrontation. But what happened, like you can see, Kibagendi was telling off the audience about Kenya Kwanza has failed. Hakuna kitu wamefanya kabisa. Kwa sababu the politicians who UDA had said, and this is the report, that there are some donations from their seniors. And as of the norm, they have to speak well about government before giving that money. It's the culture. And they spoke well and there was no problem. But when Anthony Kibagendi, who was also invited and was also supposed to give his contribution, came there, started talking ill about Kenya Kwanza, his microphone went off. His microphone was put off. And that is where the problem started. So the people there protested the decision of the organizers to put off the microphone of Anthony Kibagendi, because Anthony Kibagendi was actually attacking government. And Citizen TV, I've gotten a story from Citizen TV. They documented that incident. And can you listen to this bit from Citizen?
Youth backing the political leaders joined in heckling the leaders in the opposing camps. And when Kibagendi's speech was suddenly interrupted over his criticism of Kenya Kwanza lawmakers in the region, hell broke loose. Etonu ground turned to be a battleground of sorts. Police lobbing tear gas to disperse the crowd. The area sub-county commandant Gomba Sebe, together with his security team, had difficult time restoring order. And the church leadership couldn't hide its displeasure with the bad manners of politicians.
Sasa mkikuja kutusaidia, muwe makinifu, very careful to respect our God. Hata kama mnatusaidia, respect our God. We have a way we worship our God. Kwa hivyo leo tunataka tukusanye sadaka hii na tumechukua ibada sasa ni ya kanisa. We want money only. And if you don't want to give us money, please, you are free. Don't worry.
So as you can see, I don't know what is the problem here, because if it is criticism, even Raila Odinga is doing criticism. You know. So when Anthony Kibagendi was talking there, he was talking about what Kenya Kwanza hakuna kitu wamefanya bure kabisa. And that area is actually a pro-Azimio zone. So there was no problem. But politicians that had to show might decided to cause chaos. And that's why police lobbed the tear gas there. And people now had to run helter-skelter, looking for safe grounds because things had gone wrong. And I'm being told that why not that microphone ya Kibagendi was not put off, that violence will not have happened. Someone in Kisii who has a better version, get to our comment section if you attended that and tell us what exactly happened there. And because this is a very bad manners, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very bad manners. In Homa Bay, not in Homa Bay, in Migori, supporters of Ochila Yako and supporters of Mark Nyamita, as you can see here, clashed in a burial. You know, clashed in a burial. Of course, Mark Nyamita is eyeing the governor's seat and is one of the Nyanza rebels. And in Nyanza, there has been a problem because people felt Raila was making an exit, so people started scrambling for that space. And he seems to be coming back, he's not leaving that space. And so, you can see the way people are mourning their loved one. It's normally, you know, sometimes these things I see them in when I'm doing this analysis, I'm just thinking, if it's in my place, I don't just think whether, I just don't know whether I can even, you know, sometimes you're even attempted to say you don't want them to attend. Imagine your in-laws are there, a burial is just supposed to happen, and then chaos come, and people, someone who's even mourning his husband or his wife or his child, have to run away for safety because a politician has invaded that event. It is the same thing to what happened in Trans Nzoia. Tempers are high. And is it deliberate? Is it deliberate? Even today in Kiambu, hey, Rigathi Gachagua, Kimani Chungwa, and Wamatangi, it was fire. I did that video here. It was fire. So is this violence orchestrated? And I'm feeling this. There are two triggers of the political temperatures. Number one, the clamor for the grassroots elections that the political parties are getting involved in. ODM and UDA, all of them are in some catch-22 for grassroots elections. And I'm seeing, in fact, those grassroots elections are not well attended. But I'm seeing them struggling to paint areas yellow or orange. In Homa Bay, there was an attempt to paint Homa Bay yellow, but Johan, the team went and made sure that it remained orange. So that politics and that of political parties merger. So the public is reading these stories in the newspaper. And when they read them, they see that, okay, oh, grassroots elections, it means elections is coming soon. Oh, political parties merger, we have formed new coalitions, it means we have an election the next day. The political leadership is already creating an environment as if we have an election coming the next day. That is the first trigger. The second trigger is the fact that we've made our politics, the currency of our politics be money. And that is why that church, you want to donate to that church. But before you donate, you must create a platform so that the congregants there you can get their support first before giving that money. And what has brought early campaigns here is the population understands very well that the person we elected is not bringing any change. So, at the end of the day, we will remove him. So what does the politician want to do? He wants just to go and steal money there and go and take to the people. A very wrong precedence. This is very bad. And William Ruto's handlers should actually, his political handlers should be more careful. They should be more worried than any person. And the reason why they should be more worried is, if by the end of 2024, we shall have convinced the nation that it's already an election preparedness year, if those campaigns start kicking off, if they kick off early as 2024 now, Kenyan public will pass an early verdict on Kenya Kwanza that you guys have failed. Because remember, when you start early campaigns, there is something it creates. And remember when Uhuru Kenyatta was even complaining when during his time with William Ruto, he was complaining about early campaigns. You know the effect of early campaigns? It actually disorients even the government. Because within government, there are civil servants who also want to go to politics. So instead of focusing on the projects, on money they can set aside for projects, the projects are done underway in a very shoddy manner so that money can be kept aside. And of course, there is also divided attention. That's one effect. And when they set the country in a campaign mode, every region becomes volatile. That you want to build a road there, you want to go and build a road in Nyanza, but already people in Western are asking you questions. So you find out that you cannot even run projects as planned. You just want to do areas that are gonna vote for you, areas you want to campaign. And the more Kenyans see campaign starting, the more they will pass that verdict that Kenya Kwanza has failed. Because we just came to an election the next day. If there are people that must resist the temptation to enter into campaigns, are Kenya Kwanza. Number two, we are setting ground for unnecessarily high-octane politics that will create fear of violence, and this will make people withdraw from even the ballot box. 2022, turnout was low. 2027, if you're not careful, this violence, if we take it to 2027, even the people we want to vote for us will not go to the ballot. Save for the rains. Even save for when rains are not there, you might have a legitimate reason that people have low turnout. But if we don't make it, if we don't really become very serious, then the voter will not go to the polling station because he'll fear violence. I think we need to put our acts right.